For decades, they were the ideal image of masculinity, riding horses through deserts, firing guns with chilling precision, then passionately kissing sultry starlets on the big screen. But few knew that in real life, some had never even held a woman's hand, never dated, never had a love scandal because the person they truly loved was a man. Some lived quietly with their boyfriends for 55 years, yet Hollywood only dared call them close managers. Some died of AIDS, but the press could only report it as severe pneumonia. Others left behind hundreds of love letters to their partners, but the moment they passed away, their families burned every trace of evidence with one final command: no one must ever know. Why the secrecy? Because even a single leaked photo could shred contracts, destroy careers, and bury legends overnight. Subscribe now to discover the secrets Hollywood tried to take to the grave. Paul Newman. The love letters never sent. Behind those dazzling blue eyes that made the world pause, Paul Newman carried silences no one expected. During East of Eden filming, something began. A quiet relationship with James Dean witnessed by makeup team members. They took morning walks, spent long hours in dressing rooms after crews left. Newman's contracts soon included clauses forbidding close relationships with male co-stars outside filming. In the 1970s, a Utah mountain cabin drew attention with one regular visitor, Robert Redford. A neighbor recalled seeing two men talking endlessly on porches under autumn sunsets. When Newman planned revealing his truth in a 1985 Barbara Walters interview about once loving a man, studio representatives arrived hours before taping with image clauses. The interview was canceled. After Joanne's death, family found a safe containing letters labeled "Dean to Paul, keep safe," marked with RH initials, Rock Hudson. The letters' contents were never revealed, but their existence opened shadowed corners of a life the world thought it knew. Burt Lancaster, the secret behind Dressing Room 3. On screen, Burt Lancaster embodied the ideal gentleman, strong, sophisticated, with razor-sharp smiles. During From Here to Eternity pre-production, Dressing Room 3 became backstage gossip. When shooting ran late, the door locked from inside, lights dimmed to amber, and jazz began playing. First entered Burt Lancaster, then James Marlowe, a young Broadway dancer with a smile like fire and eyes like lightning. A makeup artist recalled, "No one dared ask because everyone knew. If the door was locked and music played, the night wasn't over." The FBI launched surveillance under J. Edgar Hoover, citing moral risk within military circles. Secret parties at a Malibu estate attended exclusively by men, mostly young Columbia talents. Even Lancaster's 22-year marriage to June was an unspoken arrangement where, as long as the ideal man image stayed intact, backstage it didn't matter who loved whom. In 1973, Lancaster planned leaving Hollywood for Italy with a French ballet dancer, but his lover died in a car accident 2 months before their move. Cesar Romero. The Joker's underground kingdom. Behind the legendary Joker's smile and booming laughter, Cesar Romero masterminded one of Hollywood's most sophisticated underground circles, a world where celebrities, politicians, and public morality icons could shed masks and live truthfully for hours. Its code name was the Violet Room, but insiders called it the room behind the bookshelf. Every Saturday night, Romero's Hollywood Hills mansion remained lit until dawn. Over 20 young men in violet velvet robes passed through a secret door behind a large painting. Broadway dancer Angelo Marquez recalled seeing Rock Hudson shirtless playing piano while Paul Lynde danced with a senator whose name started with J. They drank from gold-rimmed goblets engraved with violet symbols. Rumored attendees included James Dean leaving at 4 a.m., barely standing, Liberace playing piano with tears, even Senator Prescott Bush. When Romero died in 1994, unknown men quickly sealed his mansion. An FBI file labeled CR01, not declassified, mentions evidence includes VHS tapes, diaries, and audio recordings. John Gavin, the ambassador's 25-year secret. John Gavin was the blueprint of the ideal man. Tall, composed, with warm, commanding voice. During A Time to Love and A Time to Die, filming in 1958, a love story began with Robert Lansing, a strikingly handsome television actor. Their connection started during auditions, with a lighting technician recalling. Everyone could tell John's gaze toward Robert wasn't professional. They'd sneak to the prop van, light cigarettes. John would smooth Robert's hair, touches no colleagues share. By 1960, studios called a morality meeting for actors suspected of non-traditional lifestyles. 3 weeks later, Gavin abruptly married actress Constance Towers, whom he'd barely met. When President Reagan appointed Gavin as ambassador to Mexico in 1981, he signed strict moral declarations. But Robert Lansing waited at a Santa Fe villa where they escaped weekends. The CIA launched covert probe Lobo, fearing Gavin's private life could be exploited. After Gavin's wife discovered love letters, Robert was mysteriously assaulted by unidentified men and hospitalized. George Nader, exiled for living truthfully. In the mid-1950s, George Nader was hailed by Universal as the next Rock Hudson. Chiseled features, velvety voice, perfect physique. He signed a $1 million contract and was named Breakout Star of the Year. But in 72 hours, his career crashed when a Super 8 reel secretly filmed in his Palm Springs home captured him kissing Mark Miller, his personal manager and lover. Every project was immediately canceled. An internal Universal memo stated, "George Nader no longer holds commercial value for mainstream markets." 3 studios hired investigators to follow Miller, suspecting he caused George to decline romantic roles with women. Rock Hudson allegedly tried convincing George to break up with Mark to preserve stardom. George just laughed. "I won't act, not on screen and definitely not in my own life." From the late 1970s onward, they lived in seclusion in Maui, receiving death threats for daring to live honestly. When George died in 2001, his unpublished memoir contained, "Hollywood took my money, fame, career, but never took Mark." Roddy McDowall, the FBI's shocking discovery. With the porcelain face of British nobility and shy smile of a well-raised boy, Roddy McDowall appeared the perfect gentleman. But on September 2, 1974, when FBI agents raided his Laurel Canyon mansion, they uncovered something far more unsettling than expected. Behind a bookshelf door leading to his basement, agents found thousands of male nude photographs cataloged by ID numbers with notations of height, weight, preferences, and former lovers. Captions included, "Send only if blackmail needed," and "Taken while drunk." 3 pictured men were serving in high-ranking congressional positions. A silent Super 8 reel showed 5 nude masked men pole dancing surrounded by laughing, intoxicated faces. One was believed to be a 1968 Oscar-winning director who resigned 2 months later, citing mental exhaustion. A former friend recalled asking about the photos. Roddy just shrugged and said, "If you hold what they fear most, no one dares hurt you." When McDowall died in 1998, over 300 photos went missing, along with a Cuban gardener hired just 2 months earlier. Jeremy Brett, Sherlock Holmes' shattered heart. Before becoming the iconic Sherlock Holmes, Jeremy Brett was secretly involved with a British nobleman with royal blood, the future husband of a famous princess. Their relationship ended with a frozen slap and 2 torn train tickets at Paddington Station. In 1963, Jeremy was pressured into visiting a Belgravia psychiatrist who recommended hormone therapy to stabilize his sexual orientation. For 3 months, Jeremy received injections causing sleep disorders, breakdowns, and hallucinations. The medical report coldly noted, "Promising progress, no more signs of emotional deviation." Months after completing therapy, Jeremy abruptly married actress Anna Massey. In Anna's diary, she wrote, "On our wedding night, he wouldn't look me in the eye. He lay turned toward the wall, trembling like a child." When cast as Holmes, Granada Television required Jeremy to maintain singleness and avoid relationships that might disrupt audience perception. During breaks, Jeremy would whisper to mirrors like talking to someone absent. In 1989, Jeremy collapsed with empty sedative wrappers beside a 3-page letter addressed to someone named J. Troy Donahue, the prince who never loved a woman with golden hair, sea-blue eyes, and a Greek god's smile, Troy Donahue became America's teenage dream in the late 1950s. Every girl wanted to kiss him. Every boy wanted to be him. But behind the charm, Troy was living a lie so tightly sealed that even co-stars never guessed. A fan magazine dubbed him the last real straight prince of Hollywood, a label that secretly tormented him. He confided to a fellow actor, "They think I'm betting every starlet I work with. Truth is, I've never kissed a woman without pretending she was someone else." His Warner Brothers contract forbade non-conforming behavior. Every public appearance was staged, holding hands with Connie Stevens, Natalie Wood, Claudia Cardinale. But these were public stunts with no intimacy implied. The only real relationship was with production assistant Peter, who lived with him for 20 years in a hidden Laurel Canyon duplex. When Peter died in a car accident, Troy screamed, "He was everything I never had courage to be." Dirk Bogarde. Love letters banned for decades. The British press called Dirk Bogarde the intellectual gentleman of British cinema. Elegant, sophisticated, mysteriously single. But strangely, no one talked about Anthony Forwood, his former co-star who lived with Dirk for over 30 years, traveled with him, and held his entire personal will. In 1968, Dirk signed a memoir deal with Harper & Row. When he submitted the manuscript including 40 pages of love letters to Tony and a confession, "I've never loved a woman and never wanted to," the publisher demanded immediate edits to meet American moral standards, or the deal would terminate. Dirk withdrew the manuscript forever. Leaked British library files revealed that on Dirk's funeral day, a family representative secured all letters, diaries, and photos of Dirk and Tony, ordering the archive sealed indefinitely against offensive content insulting British cultural values. Only one note survived, secretly photographed by a gardener. "Tony loved me without needing me to say it aloud, but I learned to remain silent. I played 60 straight men and the world believed it." Farley Granger, the man who dared to love both. In the 1950s, when Hollywood boxed everything into narrow molds, Farley Granger dared walk a tightrope between two worlds. Beautiful as a Greek god, he rose to fame through rope and strangers on a train, captivating not just women, but tender hearts hidden in shadows. In 1952, Farley was photographed leaving Chateau Marmont with a gay writer. Confidential magazine threatened MGM, either $50,000 or tomorrow all America knows. MGM paid, but Farley lived as if hooded, constantly monitored, forced to smile when he didn't want to. In 1953, he stunned Hollywood by publicly dating Shelley Winters. At a backstage party, a man in red velvet threw a cocktail in Farley's face, shouting, "You can smile for the world, but who do you kiss when you go home?" Farley began appearing on unspoken blacklists. A director bluntly said, "I don't hire actors the audience doesn't know who they love." His 2007 memoir sparked controversy by mentioning loving Shelley, but also trembling when Leonard Bernstein touched his hand backstage. These 12 stories reveal the devastating human cost of Hollywood's golden age, when an entire industry conspired to hide authentic love behind manufactured heterosexual facades. From Paul Newman's canceled confession to Van Johnson's forced marriage, each tale exposes how the entertainment machine prioritized profit over people's right to love freely. Some stars, like George Nader, chose exile over deception, living openly with their partners despite career destruction. Others, like Jeremy Brett, suffered physical and psychological damage from conversion therapy designed to cure their natural desires. Many, including Dirk Bogarde and Charles Lawton, spent lifetimes in loveless marriages that served as elaborate covers for their true relationships. The most tragic aspect isn't just the secrets themselves, but how thoroughly Hollywood erased these love stories. FBI raids destroyed evidence, families burned letters, studios paid blackmail money, and even gravestones were edited to hide the truth. These weren't just individual closets. They were institutional conspiracies to maintain the illusion that America's masculine ideals were exclusively heterosexual. If these hidden stories moved you, share this video to honor their memory and subscribe for more untold tales of love, loss, and courage behind the silver screen.